Well, g'day and welcome to another little wee video. This one I'm making for the record. This is kind of like an official, I don't know that I have an official bone in my body, but if there was anything to be official as far as my videos go, this would be an official one. So I was just looking at the idea, because I'm just in the practice of constantly questioning my own thoughts about reality and everything as I undergo the residue of the transformation of this physical association. And I was just looking at the idea of identity, because all spiritual determination is nothing more than a change of identity about yourself, of what it is that you thought you were, and to what it is that you have realized through self-illumination or enlightenment that you actually are. So, as a matter of record, I'm declaring my identity in this video, which is that as the Christ, okay, along with you and every other living thing on earth, not as a Christian or a Buddhist or a Hindu or any of those religious observances, but as the Christ. All right, now, make of that whatever you want to. I mean, you have to experience it for yourself to understand the truth of that declaration, but it occurred to me that, as things always occur to me, but it occurred to me that truth and justice and liberty and all of these things that as human associations we claim to want to hold dear to our sense of self, these things can only be witnessed to through a perception of individual recognition, right? Because it's only my own mind, it's only your own mind that's telling you what it is that you think is going on, and formulating references that bounce back and forth amid the synapses of your brain that find correlating references to validate the idea of, let's say, liberty and justice and freedom and all those sorts of things. But all of those things, all of those high ideals for human pardon me, all of those high ideals for human striving, I guess, at times, and human expectation, and what would you call them? They're high ethical, not really ethical, are they? It's like, but I'm sure you know what I'm trying to say. But all of these morality-based things that lean towards a sense of self as a free person or a free being or a someone who has a sense of free will, don't have any validity in them unless the truth is upheld. Okay, and so you can only witness to the truth within yourself, and from that extend that recognition of your own truth, and in my case being the Christ, outward to anyone who has ears to hear. So the idea of identity then is quite pivotal to this declaration. In the world, it seems these days, in the year 2021 that we're in, that you can identify as pretty much anything you want. A male, a female, a transgender person. I don't really even know what the list of other things that are the common ones, but nowadays I actually heard of somebody who wanted to identify as their dog, and spent their time on 4 hands and knees and barking and eating out of a dog bowl. And whilst I would probably liken that more to something akin to mental illness, it's not my place to judge. You know, it's not my place to judge. So the idea then of declaring myself as the Christ is my claim on identity. Now, it's not frivolous, it's not arrogant, it's not blasphemous. It's something that I'm claiming because of an experience of the illumination of my mind that happened to me in 1997 and has been witnessed to by everyone who's been watching my videos and giving worthy comment, or even unworthy comment sometimes, ever since. Okay, which is almost 20 odd years, and this is probably, if you're watching this, I'm not sure if this is my second YouTube channel, but this one's been going for quite some time. So as, let's say, proof of my sincerity and my integrity regarding my declaration, you are witness, and the channel that you're watching this on is also witness. And of course, there are many people that have come to me personally and received blessing through the divine nature of that illumination that occurred in my mind through my hands. And we can call that healing, if you like, or realignment of perception, all sorts of things. So in wanting to make this video for the record, it's important that the declaration is understood for what it actually represents, because I'm declaring that I'm not of this world. I'm declaring that despite that you see me as this physical entity with your body's eyes, that that actually means nothing to me, and I'm here specifically from a non-physical plane, which you could call eternity, to carry the message that every true prophet and every true teacher has carried since man attained consciousness, which is the message of spiritual awakening, which is the message of the truth. Okay, the truth as declared by Christ Jesus 2,000 years ago, who would have to be probably the most widely accepted, most widely verified teacher of the message by the Buddha, whose own experience and illumination gave him a very similar message, or in fact identical message, expressed slightly differently, however, for those who were with him at the time. And there have been many other influences in my life as well in that regard, that Lao Tzu and Hafiz and of course Rumi and other widely known and acknowledged teachers of truth, who have declared the certainty of their own understanding based on the experience, the non-temporal experiences that they have had and have sought beyond the body, which have revealed to them that they also are not the physical vessel. All right, now it's important to understand that, because all the laws, all the practices, all the beliefs born of the world of men focus with the body as the center of the identity, and they are structured in such a way as to adhere conformity and allegiance to an ongoing sense of self that revolves around the identity of the self as being the physical entity, which in my mind is not truth and is a lie, which is why the laws of this land perhaps are structured around biblical determination, biblical auspices, as a means of representing and holding out for example what it is that a man in his own conscious association with himself, wherever he's at with that, can come to understand as being the truth. And it's important that in that regard, my declaration is quantified and qualified by the witnesses to the truth, who, like me, know it to be a fact, know that God is a fact, and God is not something that requires belief. God is not something that requires faith. God simply is. Okay, and very simply can be experienced as that divine, all-encompassing creative entity of life through the illumination of the mind, the enlightenment of the mind, which is the experience of direct union with Source, with God. Okay, it is the truth. Seek the truth and it will set you free. Free from every belief that you think you are a body. And despite the fact, I guess, that when you have that experience, because you already have at some point, time being something that is being looked back upon now, and I don't want to get into explaining that in this video, but when you have that experience, you'll understand the nature of what it is that I'm saying, and you'll know it to be perfectly truthful. And without opposite, there is no opposite to truth. Truth is all-encompassing. So I think that's it. It just occurred to me to make that declaration as I'm coming down here for the record. Okay, because it may be useful to you. Certainly it's useful to me. It puts me into a direct, let's say, confrontation with whatever other elements of my residual denial of that truth are going to show up as. Okay, so that I can apply the principles of the curriculum that brought me to a stability and a deeper understanding of that truth for the greater good of man and the glory of God, which is why any of us are here. And if we're not here for that, we're here for a lesser reason, and a lesser reason is no reason at all. So thank you for listening, and I would deeply appreciate comments down below. Comments of a witnessing nature would be helpful, I think, and appreciated. I don't know what that's going to look like, and if you think I'm crazy, then you're free as whatever you want to write that as well. But just know that I love you in crazy times and in times of sanity. The love is unequivocal. Is that the right word? All right, peace. Thank you.